All right, hello, welcome everybody to the Saturday cast. I'm joined by Edicts. Today we're going to be casting Tempest Esports versus Velocity University, two teams towards the lower end of the table, but that's okay. They still have plenty of time to get back into the action. Edicts, what are you kind of looking forward to in this matchup tonight?
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to, first of all, how close these teams are in the standings. And we haven't seen much from these teams on being casted on stream. So I'm looking forward to, the big question on my mind is how much Hog are these teams going to play? We've seen a lot of Hog and Owlet matches recently. But more than that, how much Genji are we going to be seeing from these teams, do you think, Mistercrit? We've been seeing both Tempest and Velocity playing a lot of Genji, Santamon, and Little Sloth, respectively. How much do you think we're going to be seeing today?
Yeah, that is a very good question. Genji, with the nerfs, has seen a little bit less play, kind of relevance in the meta, but some teams still electing to play him, so I think it's very possible we see a sizable amount of Genji, depending on how the momentum shifts and the comfort picks go on throughout the series. And that should be something to look forward to as well.
Absolutely. And also, something to note from both of these teams, Tempest and Velocity, is that both of them love to swap to Rein Zarya in these brawl-heavy maps, sometimes running Mei as well, with heavy sustain, AoE burst healing. How many maps do you, on Oasis in particular, do you expect this Rein Zarya look to be coming out, or are you expecting more of what they've shown us a lot in the first few weeks of Owlet with the Winston Zarya, or are you expecting something completely different?
Yeah, that's a good question. Oasis, very, very commonly known as like a dive map. You can play Rhine comps on like one or two of them. University comes to mind in particular. But for the most part, it's a pretty heavy Winston Zarya map. That's kind of what I've seen a lot throughout teams in common, especially on this map lately in the past few weeks. So I imagine we should be seeing quite a bit of that. But I also have seen some Hog Zarya as well. So we could see a few different looks coming out from the teams today.
And another few questions about Tempest in particular is being the underdogs in this match a little bit. Well, both teams could be the underdogs, but some of them, Fire Triangle loves to swap to the Pharah a lot. And if they do get flustered in matches, we've seen them go to the Ana Moira with this really high sustain and try to outlive everything. So I think the onus is on to the side of Tempest Esports to keep their composure during this match and see how long they can really withstand. But I think this is going to be a really close match.
Yeah, indeed. I think both teams, especially this could be a really like intense close match, considering how these two teams have just been consistently taking maps. Haven't quite been able to find too many wins this season, but I think we could be in for a close game.
Absolutely, and it is something to note that while both these teams are low in the standings, Velocity University in particular took my team Dice Rolls to map 5 and looked pretty competent throughout. So we could be seeing a bit of an upset here, and we really don't have much information on the side of Tempest. So yeah, seems we're going into game now. We're about to find out, Mistercrit.
Yeah, for sure. We're going to be heading into Oasis. Is our first map loading into the series. Should be an exciting one. Hopefully we get some nice composition variety heading into this map. So heading into this first one, what kind of heroes or comps do you expect to see on this first round?
I'm expecting Winston Zarya, and as I expected from Fire Triangle, we are getting the Pharah, and this is something I expected from the outset. And Little Sloth on the Genji, these are picks that they have comfortably gone to when playing this Korean dive, double bubble, whatever you want to call it, composition. So I'm curious also to see how Brewer on Lucio is going to turn out for them.
Yeah, it's quite a bit of a different kind of philosophy and styles in these comps. My team played against Tempest recently, and they were just a big fan of that Pharmacy. Gave us a lot of trouble, so we should be able to see if it gives Velocity quite a bit of trouble as well heading into this.
Well, Velocity is playing a very fast-paced dive, sort of like almost brawl style with the Lucio. They want to get in really, really quickly before Fire Triangle can actually do anything on the far and get any of his poke value done. And with Zythian on the Ashe, needs to get value before the side of Velocity actually gets in.
Yeah, correct. So we're going to see both teams rolling out, both going through the main Fire Triangle, getting some poke damage in with that Fire to try and get some early ult charge. Maybe chunk down a few people in the back. We're going to see Audacity going in for a flank behind Tempest, trying to look to get some early damage. Fire Triangle getting an early pick on the team. That could be exactly what Tempest needs to try and get this early advantage in this team fight right now. It's going a little bit slow, but right now, once I said picks continuing to go the way of Tempest, just continuously blue in the kill feed right now. But Velocity, they're the ones on the point. Tempest have to drop down to try to contest and stop them from capping the point. Picks back and forth. Krakenmore is going to get one, but Phaedron with his Zarya just beaming them down. And it seems like right now Rez going to come out as well for Tempest. And it seems like it's going to be a little bit of a drawn-out fight here. Winston's brawling on the point, but it does seem like Tempest is going to take first control.
Yeah, and Mistercrit, something to note here from the dominant first fight rather from Tempest is that they let Tempest completely dictate tempo. You saw Dave Striker kind of hesitating on the Winston, Quackmore going in on the point, letting themselves get brawled down. They have to go faster than this if they want to take this poke composition out.
Yeah, Pharah proving to be a lot of trouble, and in fact, so much so that we're going to see the Pharmacy Mirror coming out from both teams. It is going to be the battle of which Pharah gets the most value, irritates the team. Little Sloth now chunking down some rockets, and it's going to be Hailstorm. Both Winston's, we're going to see Dave Striker diving in as well, but he's going to have to drop down, taking a lot of damage in the process. Yes, actually going to catch the Mercy. Little Sloth getting a few picks on the Pharah as well. Tempest going to get an equalizer pick, but Little Sloth just dominant on this Pharah throughout this fight here. Velocity going to take back the point at about 40% from Tempest.
Yeah, and Velocity, instead of trying to go for this up tempo, they just go for the mirror and say, okay, we can outpoke Tempest here and just get the win that way. Send Dave Striker in to set a lot of pressure up early, and that's exactly what happens. But it is important to note that Fire Triangle has the barrage. There's almost a grab on the side of Tempest as well, and a bit of an ultimate advantage right now.
Yeah, they do have that grab, like you said. Barrage actually coming out in this fight isn't going to be able to find anything, but Valkyrie's going to get that early pick on Audacity. Could be what they need. Equalizing picks. Valkyrie coming as well out from Skill to try and keep their team alive, sustain throughout the fight, but Glock coming out from the Mercy trying to get some picks. Zytian is going to get one on the Ashe. Graviton coming out from Tempest to try and close things out here. Looks like it's going to be Tempest taking it back a little bit slowly, though. Dave Strider stalling it out as much as he can for his team, but in the end, it does seem like Tempest taking back the point.
Oh, and Text almost carried that defense with a sleep onto Fire Triangle, but not quite. A little bit of an maybe like the grab almost looked a little bit ambitious, but the follow-up was just enough to get them that fight win. But now Velocity may be able to come back into this. They have the Graviton Surge of their own. They have the Nano Boost, Bob, and Barrage, and Valk. 5 ultimates with only 2 on the side of Tempest.
Yeah, both teams having quite a bit of ultimates going in this fight, but like you said, Velocity coming in with more, but I like to say it's not about the amount of ults you have, it's how you use them. So we're going to be able to see some smart ult usage for Rez. I say that. Early picks trading across from both sides. Tiger is going to get nanoed on this Monkey, just going in, zapping as many people up as he can. Rez going to come up for Zytherman, but Little Sloth, despite all the picks coming onto their team, is going to get quite a bit, 3 or 4 as well. Battle on the point now. It's a 2v1. Little Sloth just by themselves. But it does seem like Little Sloth's going to try to get the Monkey. Tiger's going to go for the Primal. Tiger going for the Primal. But it does seem like Audacity is trying to get a pick. Does get his counterpart. Now it's going to be a mad dash to the point to try and see if they can stall it out. Bob going to come out as well on this point. Graviton, Surgicon as well. Nano comes out. All the ultimates are being popped. Velocity really wants this point back. Fire Triangle, to his dismay, is going to go down.
Velocity had no business winning that fight, Crit. Tempest just overextends there. You see Tiger going with a Barrage to hunt the kill onto Little Sloth. It was just an overcommitment. Velocity had done everything right. Or Tempest had done everything right, excuse me, by just going in and using their ults aggressively, despite the ult disadvantage. And now they've given Velocity for overextension another way back into this map.
Yeah, Velocity looking to have a real shot at coming back in. They do have the ult advantage, like coming up here with the Barrage, and that Primal could be used to get some nice environmentals off of the side of this point here. Fire Triangle shunning people in, and now he's going to have that Barrage. But Little Sloth uses it first, gets 2 in the early fight. Tiger, but he equalizes with 2 back. Now we're going to see a Barrage coming out. Fire Triangle going to go down the process, but not without taking out 1 with him. It's going to be Little Sloth and Audacity, the DPS dynamic duo, taking out Tiger, and right now, it's all Velocity on the point. Is Tempest going to be able to even touch?
Yeah, you see Phaedron going onto the ball, trying to desperately touch it. Looks like they will be able to, Mr. Crit.
Yeah, Bob's going to come out clutching out with the stall, but Zythian going to pay for that with his life. Dave Striker going in for the Primal, going to try to clutch it out for their team, getting as much boost as we can. Red, the kill feed going ham for Velocity right now. Bob unable to get too much done, and just Farah from Little Sloth raining down on anybody that tries to oppose them. Just left and right, but it seems like right now Red Team going to get consistently dominant. Tiger's going to get one, but not before Quackamore gets the big finisher, and it seems like Velocity going to take this first round on Oasis.
The Farah duel at the end was really, really critical to the outcome of this map. You saw both Farahs going into the backline of the other team, going for the barrages. Now, the one on the side of Velocity got a little bit more value. You see he uses it in... You see Little Soft using the barrage in the more open space and being able to actually chunk down the backline, whereas on the side of Tempest, you see Fire Triangle going in for the barrage, and he's in a smaller corridor in that top room, and just barrages and ends up killing himself with it in the end.
Yeah, unfortunate misplay in that last map there, but we're going to see the Farah still come out from Little Sloth, Crees on both sides, but now we're going to see the Farah no mercy, interestingly enough. Oh,
no, he's going to swap to the
I just got baited. We got the Genji instead. Little Sloth pulling that out. But Ryan Zarya, pretty similar comp from both teams. Very brawly. They want to get in quick. Tempest taking a lot of chunk damage early. And Velocity's going to look to capitalize, getting really aggressive. Both Ryans getting knocked down in that counter pin right now. But it does seem like Dave Sparker getting froze up. But Brewer able to get that early pick on the team. That could be what they need to close this out. But right as I say that, Zythian able to capitalize and confirm that pick on the opposing Ryan. But it seems like mad brawl on the point right now, just trying to confirm picks for their team. Zythian able to find one, like I said. It seems like right now, Velocity able to cap point, but the fight is still going on Edicts. Tempest is right outside the point, and they're going to have to regroup probably, because they're down a few.
Oh, Skillet had no business surviving, and thankfully he doesn't. Just a little bit of an overextension. You saw Tempest taking a lot of early space, but getting punished from the bio nade from Tex. And now the onus is on them to take space, but they have a little bit of an easier time with the Mei here. And I do favor this comp in the end. Let's see how it goes.
Yeah, Coalesce is going to be coming in from Biocris, able to push in with their team more aggressively, giving them that healing that they needed. Genji going to come out, High Noon as well, but it seems like Little Sloth with the blade is able to find one. Can he find more? Make it two-piece for the price of one ultimate coming out from Little Sloth, and it does seem like a Velocity able to hold on to this point, but not before Fire Triangle gets an exit pick on a Brewer.
Yeah, and you just see their Velocity just taking out their ultimate advantage on the side of Tempest. Just going up tempo, they see the Mei wall isn't great, and they just go all the way in. Not much value from it. Now they do have a Blizzard, and only tank ultimates on the side of Velocity. And Blizzard can shut down almost everything, so this... I think the advantage is to Tempest just for once. They have to win this fight.
Early pick coming out from Tiger, and that's not going to make things any easier for Velocity. Freeze coming out on the point. Tiger's going to close up too with the assistance of that Mei ultimate. It does seem like for now the early aggressive picks coming out from Tempest, they were going to help them secure the point. Velocity losing it at 70.
Yeah, and what's important here is that they win using only the Blizzard. Instead, Tiger didn't feel pressured enough to use the Earth Shatter, and now they have matching Earth Shatters. And dueling Graviton Surges. So it's now, I think whoever wins this fight is going to be the team that uses the Graviton Surge most aggressively.
Yeah, Shatter coming out from Tiger, unable to find anything, so Graviton Surges out from both teams, so both Lucios are going to have beats, but just dueling Graviton beat coming out from Skillet. Zythian's going to take one down early, so this could be an equalizing pick that Tempest needs to close out this fight. But still, like I said, Velocity still have a lot of ultimates. They could invest in this fight if they want to. Audacity with the flank High Noon, unable to find anything though. Nano with the Dave Striker is able to find two. He's going to lay down some people on the floor. Tiger's going to try and go for a pin, but he is going to get overextended and picked for that in just a moment. Phaedron getting one, but it seems like Velocity with this tempo advantage is going to try to move into the point and clean up at this moment. Whereas I say that, Valkyrie's going to find one. Zythian with the High Noon, a little bit too brave, might I ask. But right here, just mad brawl on the point. Tempest being pushed back. A little bit of a rough fight near the end, but Velocity able to bring it back.
Tempest almost had it. They had burned everyone's resources inside their own inside the Graviton Surge on the side of Velocity, but just couldn't find the picks in the end. And Maywall not finding enough value from Fire Triangle. And now that there's a blade on the side of Velocity and almost a nano, all they have to do is build up to that. Tempest has to get in there at ult before they can actually build this up, but there's not much time remaining.
Yeah, Tex has got to build this nano as fast as he can to nano Little Sloth and try to get that early pick onto Tempest to try and close it out, but Maywall unable to really get too much value. Dave Strider really get value. Shatter coming out, Lusoff unable to get much value on that blade. It's all gone wrong for Velocity. The Nano Blade unable to find key picks. Tempest finding 2. Graviton's coming out though. This could be what they need. Valkrust helping up his team, getting them topped up. Tempest looking to take back this point, but a lot of people down on the side. They're gonna have to play really slow now.
Oh, and that was a panic Graviton from Crockamore. I bet he wishes he had that one back. And there's still a brawl going in the fight.
Dave Striker getting 3. Audacity with the high noon. Unable to find anything though, but still, the fight is not over yet. Graviton from Phaedron, as I say, but unable to find much value. Audacity getting out scot-free on this point. Last minute Mail being chucked onto the point. Is only really able to find Tex, but with the beat there by Skillet, he's going to try to stall out as much as possible for his team and Tempest, but as you guys can see, it's all red in the kill feed. Velocity just taking up picks. Tiger's going to try to stall on this ball here, but realistically, there's only so much he's got. Beat going to come out as well to help sustain Velocity. It's in OT now. Luckily, Tempest is going to have time to stall, but like I said, they don't have 6. They don't even have close to that amount grouped up. So right now, Tempest falling Audacity with the high noon, able to find 2. Audacity going absolutely ham on this point, able to clutch it out for his team. And Zythane with the recontest, but like I said, it's only a matter of time. Velocity going to win this map as well, the second one, and Velocity taking map 1 of Oasis over Tempest.
Yeah, and Audacity just pulling out the high noon. That's when the clock strikes midnight for Tempest. Just puts an end to it. But really, the tempo is what dictated all of that from Velocity. They just went up tempo when they were down. They had thrown in the Graviton, and it looked completely over. It looked like they had to regroup. And then just Dave Striker comes in and it just lays it down. Or was it Tiger? Oh, it was Dave Striker. It was Dave Striker.
Yeah,
my bad.
Dave Striker going ham with that aggression. That's what you like to see from a main tank. I know Edicts, as a tank player yourself, aggression is key. But as I like to say, controlled aggression is always a little bit better than just raw aggression, especially in a meta like this. So yeah, but Velocity taking first map in this series.
I love the grit that Velocity has shown. Going into fights that they should be losing and have honestly no business winning. There were several fights where they should, on both maps, where they had no business winning. And they go in with a disadvantage and use their ultimates really aggressively and catch Tempest completely off guard.
Yeah, Tempest, I'm sure, was not expecting a lot of those team fights to just come out because sometimes they get that early pick, but Velocity would just respond. Instead of backing up and taking some space, they go in hard, like you said, with those ults and getting really aggressive. And like I said, Tempest goes on the back foot. They don't expect it. And then all of a sudden, it's Velocity's fight to win. And they do so. Like I said, they take first map both rounds. But still, insane map as well. We saw a bunch of Pharah, a lot of Genji. Quite a bit of variety coming out from both teams, and it's only first map, so I'm excited to see how the rest of the series is going to go.
Yeah, I am as well. I'm curious to see, as it looks like next map is going to be Watchpoint Gibraltar, but I'm not too sure about that. I can't help but expect more of this Genji Pharah heavy, like not many projectiles. Maybe you'll see an Ashe from one side. This Winston Zarya dive that we've been seeing on the first map. I'm expecting this to be showed throughout the rest of Gibraltar.
Yeah, Velocity really showing their comfort with the Genji comps, Little Sloth, showing true prowess on not only that Pharah, but the Genji as well, coming in clutch when Velocity needs it with those blades. A few of them did get countered, like I said, most of the time providing more than enough value that his team needed to clutch out those fights. So especially going onto a map like Gibraltar, that could heavily play into Velocity's favor.
Yeah, absolutely. Just excited to see. We're on a little bit of a break here, or a little bit of a pause rather. I am curious, Mistercrit, how do you think that either of these teams is going to swap to Rhine if Gibraltar does make it the third point?
That could be a possibility. I can foresee that happening. Even though Gibraltar is very commonly played with a lot of dive, it's so open, snipers as well, just littering the battlefield. Ryan can possibly come out on the third point. I've witnessed some teams pull it out this season, so I don't think that specific hero or even comp is out of the question on that part of the map.
And here's the line of thinking that I've started following here, is that on the third point of Gibraltar, when you're playing a defense and you're getting a little bit outclassed and the offense has rolled into third point, And both teams are mirroring like the Winston Zarya. At what point does the main tank just give up and say, okay, I'm going Roadhog, we need to hook them and get the picks? And so do you think also that a Roadhog Zarya on defense, especially around third point, will be coming out?
I've seen a few teams run it. There aren't too many places I think for Hog to flank on third defense, so it could be it's questionable how much value that could get. But I still think if Hog plays his angles right and plays key flanks at right times, because like I said, Hog in this meta especially, so you play it in a very flanky style, and it's all about that Hog timing and just going on those flanks and getting those consistent picks. So if they can get those nice timings on those flanks and get those secure, consistent picks, it could get a lot of value.
Yeah, absolutely. And it becomes a little bit hard to control space when you're playing this Roadhog. You have to, it's almost completely pick reliant and just really, really brawl heavy. You just want to be taking them in the face. But dive, especially on third point, when a poke variant of a dive is more favored, these high ground positions that an attacking team can take, and these long distance angles really, really don't favor a Roadhog when there's not much cover to be playing. So it'll be interesting to see how both teams play around that if they do decide to go to the Roadhog route, or we could just be seeing, both teams like sticking with their ultimates that they've built up on the Winston Zarya dive. Really, anything is possible on Gibraltar. That's why it's such a good map.
Yeah, Gibraltar, one of the classics and one of the fan favorites in the community. I believe it's up there with maps such as King's Row and even Lijiang Tower to an extent. Just such a classic map. Like you said, Dive, probably the most favorable comp going into this map, but you can see quite a bit of different comps as well. Some Rhine Sig, some other different varieties. So it should be exciting to see what both of these teams pull out heading into this map.
Absolutely. And to start, we will have Tempest on the offense on the red team. And for the time being, Mistercrit, it looks like they're just going to roll out on the Hog Zarya. This is something I actually didn't expect.
Yeah, Hog Zarya, pretty common comp as of the past few weeks to a month now, with the recent shield nerfs coming out to try and break down that double shield meta that's been rampant for so long. But like you said, Gibraltar is a very open map, very divey, a lot of high ground, a lot of sight lines, and as Hog Zarya, it's often pretty hard and difficult to control all those different angles and altitudes at which people can play at with such a comp like that. So it should be interesting to see how they control the map with such a comp.
Mistercrit, you can't tell me that you really think Hog is meta because of shields being nerfed. You know why he's meta right now. Come on.
Well, the one shot as well, the damage.
Yeah, and the damage increase. Yeah. But you do bring up an interesting point about how this comp from Tempest is going to actually take space. The high ground control for the defenders is really, really strong here, especially on the first point, getting the cart into the underpass, into car wash as it's been known. That's going to be really challenging for the side of Tempest.
Yeah, so coming right off the gate, Tiger's going to be going for this high ground. One team actually going for the Hog Zarya and one for the Hog Winston. A little bit interesting, but Tiger's going to get chased down on this Hog, getting sandwiched in between both tanks. Yeah, and Quackmore getting a second as well, hooking the bar. You don't see that one every day, folks. Audacity getting that click onto Skillet as well, and it does seem like for the time being, Tempest going to be stopped in the tracks. Velocity holding quite strong.
Yeah, Tempest back to spawn, regroup. And what's interesting, what we didn't point out is that Velocity is running Winston Roadhog. And that's not something you've commonly seen, but it can control, it gives you a little bit more angle control than a Winston Zarya does, especially on the defense.
Yeah, it could be a best of both worlds scenario because you have the Winston for high ground and the Hog for more of like the low ground fights. But right as I say that, Quackmore gonna get that early pick, make it 2 onto the tank line. He's just been an absolute behemoth, just a constant problem for Tempest as of right now. We're gonna get slept, but still, Tempest are really gonna have to try to adjust around that, and he is gonna get punished for that.
That early pick was all Dave Stryker, but it's all falling apart so quickly.
Yeah, for Velocity, they're going to have to back up now. That overextension from Quackmore, he got a lot of picks, but like you said, that overextension was key in Tempest getting that space, pushing the cart now. Dave Stryker trying to take the high ground, but he's the only one really there. He can only stay up there for so long. Zythian pressuring from low ground, but Widow low ground with a hog equals dead Widow, as we can see here. Quackmore gonna get that pick, and he's just frontlining right now with the ultimate as well, gonna come out pushing away Velocity as much as he can, gonna get nanoed, even more effectiveness, and it's all blue in the kill feed right now. Velocity taking those picks and winning that fight.
Velocity's doing everything they need to. You see Dave Stryker dropping down from the high ground, putting bubbles onto people, and allowing the picks to come through without any healing. You see Audacity just claiming the high ground and refusing to let go, and just frontline contention constantly for Quackamore.
Yeah, high ground control been pretty great from Velocity so far, but Little Sauce is going to get picked early. Tiger going to try to get onto this aggression to stop that res, but it is unable to be stopped at the moment. Fire Triangle almost building up to a nano, so if he can stay alive, Vilecris can get that nano going, maybe a nano blade even. Res going on for Zytheon, Phaedron going insanely low. Quackmore is going to take them out. Just a mad brawl on the point, but right now Dave Stryker sitting on Zytheon, not allowing them to get any value on this Widowmaker. Primal going to come out from Tiger, but it does seem like for the time being, Velocity able to get the picks they need to try and make this fight go in their favor, but it's still a mad brawl on the point. Both teams fighting back and forth to try and take control of this cart, because it's still at a standstill. Little Sloth's going to get that pick on to Skillet. Velocity is still able to hold with less than a minute left.
Tempest is going to need to regroup here. And this is their best chance to win, and just the last fight went on so long because they thought that it was winnable, but Phaedron, as soon as he was alone on cart, they just had to get out, and they just didn't. Tiger commits the primal, and just all the wrong things are happening. But they do have the Graviton Surge and the Nano Blade. They just have to take the aggression and use this first, or else this might be a first point hold.
Yeah, it very well could be, but Velocity coming up on the Nano Blade as well, if they play it correctly. But no, as I say that, and Blade's coming up from both teams, but one nanoed and one is not. But it's going to be the key, and none of them, Little Sloth, excuse me, is able to find one. Tiger going to get that equalizing pick. Res coming out. Right now, Velocity is staying alive, but that Graviton might cause a little bit of issues. Unable to find value, Audacity is going to find 3. Tempest struggling against the strong, key, coordinated defense from Velocity, and it does seem like the cart is going to stop before even first checkpoint. What do you think went wrong there for Tempest?
Oh, Velocity, that was disgusting. Just the 4K from Audacity at the end just puts the icing on the cake, just ends that defense. Full hold coming out from them. What was going wrong is just the tempo from Tempest. They're just not taking these resets when they need to be, and they had to go really aggressive, and they had the right idea. On the side of Velocity, they were 10% away from Nano Blade, and they end up matching Blade because they don't have Nano, so it was a dry Blade. But the Nano Blade doesn't find value because Audacity is just able to coach gun him away, and then he's just sitting up there on high ground, not being able to find any slash targets. Meanwhile, Little Sloth is actually able to go in there and get the job done. I think it was just a lack of awareness of the coach gun cooldown that actually just... It's the little things that end fights like these.
Yeah, Genji, as we all know, can be very strong with that blade, especially paired with a nano, but with CCs, if played correctly, can easily be countered, and that's exactly what happened last round in that situation. But right now, like you said, sides are going to be swapped, so we're going to be seeing Velocity going to be coming out on the attack this time, Tempest on the defense. So Tempest, they weren't able to push the cart very far last round, but they're going to be looking to hold it even closer, a fuller hold, as some might say.
Something to note is that I mentioned this before the match started, but Tempest has gone onto the Moira Ana as they are put in a difficult position, so it seems they just want to out-heal everything that's being thrown their way and just cycle Nano Blades, cycle Graviton Surges, and hopefully be able to get the job done here.
Yeah, sometimes healing can be what you need, but what you get in that healing, you lose in just that raw utility. So it's going to be interesting to see they don't have that res if they get picked early. Playing really aggressively here on this point, Tiger able to find one, but now before Audacity is able to equalize, Fire Triangle going way in, trying to get Audacity off the high ground, and does do so successfully. Dave Stryker trying to take space, move people off of that high ground, is able to move them around a little bit for the time being. Quackmore way in the back line is able to get a few picks on this Zarya.
The cart's moving.
Cleaning up. Yeah, carts keep going. Dave Stryker literally popping down. He's pitching a 10 on the point. Nobody's able to contest him really, and right as they do, it's only 2 people though, both supports on the side of Tempest. Velocity just kind of sat on the point. Yeah. Velocity,
Dave Stryker.
Dave Stryker, MVP for that map. He just set up a tent, made a barbecue or so, and just pushed the cart. Sometimes all you need to do is push the cart, and for the most part, that's exactly what happens.
Do you think the cart on Gibraltar has a built-in grill, Mistercrit?
If not, I would certainly be petitioning to get one added. I think in this specific scenario, it would be more than appropriate. But yeah, both teams, neither one pushed it particularly far, because it didn't get past first point. But one obviously pushing it just a tad bit farther, just to what they needed. Velocity able to take this map here.
I mean, it was a pretty quick take from Velocity, to be fair. I think if the offense were allowed to continue, like in scrim lobbies, it would definitely have gone a lot further. Tempest was just dropping in at the wrong times, just not engaging where they should be. Not playing I think not playing the right compositions to be able to actually get this full hole. When you lose the Mercy and lose the res potential, it can all fall apart so quickly whenever the side of Velocity just finds the easy res and is able to take the 6v5 like super quick.
Yeah, indeed. Velocity going up 2-0 in this series. Tempest with their backs against the wall, but sometimes that's what teams need to get the fire going, light the fire under them. Sometimes they can just make a mad comeback. You might know a little bit about that yourself, Edicts, with those map 5s on DR. Besides that, we are at halftime, so we are going to be taking a quick break, and when we are back, we're going to be coming back with a map 3, potentially maybe even more, in this series. Stay tuned.
You just gotta keep moving forward.
All right, welcome back, everyone, to this exciting match in Owlet Major Night Saturday. Velocity versus Tempest Esports. Velocity playing pretty strong so far. They're up 2-0 versus Tempest, playing just a lot more aggression compared to Tempest. Don't you think so, Edicts?
Yeah, the Saturday night lights are really bright, but they're only shining on Velocity so far. We'll see if Tempest can actually like start bringing this back, like regain their composure and say, all right, what we've been doing isn't working. We need to figure out like what we actually want to do. And this refreshing change of map, where we're going into King's Row, and the change of styles that are usually played here might be just what they need to get this going. I know for my team personally, a lot of reverse sweep attempts have started on King's Row.
Yeah, compared to our first two maps stylistically with comps is quite a bit different. Just a quick refresher for everybody. We played Oasis map 1, Velocity won that 2-0, and then we had Gibraltar as well, also quite an open map for most of it, and Velocity took it again. But King's Row, in comparison, a pretty closed map. It's kind of quite a bit different from something like Gibraltar.
Yeah, and I think King's Row is almost a little bit cursed. When we're talking about teams with momentum going into King's Row, I think that the stylistic change is just so jarring that a lot of the time the momentum, coming out from halftime, momentum starts to fade a little bit. You're playing something completely different, and if you're not really mentally ready for that, it can catch teams off guard.
Oh yeah, definitely. I can say from experience as well, from my team, going in, that change in stylistic difference can be a little bit jarring, and it can be kind of like a speed bump, an unexpected change in those comp styles, because you go from like, in comparison from like Oasis, for example, a lot of Winston Zarya comps, to King's Row, where you see a lot more Ryan, a lot more Sig, or even Zarya, maybe even Hog, a lot more Brawly type comps, and that can be sometimes, even with a halftime break, too fast for teams to adjust.
I don't know who we're kidding. I'm expecting Ryan Zarya throughout, from based on what both these teams have shown us so far. Both of them just kind of picking, troll picks so far, let's be honest.
Yeah, at the current moment, we probably don't want to speculate on what comps they're running, because Caster Curse, they might change it right as the gates open. It happened last time on Oasis earlier in the series, when I predicted them to run Pharah with no mercy, and then they swapped to Genji. So we shall see what comes out. It does look interesting at first, but I think at the very least we can talk about Tempest, because they're starting out on defense, so they're unlikely to swap their comp. So they're going to be coming out with a Ryan Zarya, Ashe May. May can be pretty strong on this King's Row map against Brawl, because like I said, Brawl very prevalent, and especially with that choke, if you play it correctly, can be very strong.
Yeah, it looks like Tempest wants to go this really up tempo aggression, get walls, a lot of value on the May, and just go in on it, get the isolation picks really quickly, amp speed, and just completely end. And yeah, the complete comp swap from Velocity. They were trying to cast a curse us, but we know better. Nice try.
Yeah, not falling for it anymore, guys. But Velocity gonna come out with a similar Brawl comp. A little bit of differences in the DPS line. But other than that, both teams gonna be looking to brawl it out on this point. Audacity gonna look to click on some head hitboxes from spawn, maybe apply some pressure as well. Maywalk coming out, so Tiger is going to look to get aggressive. Ryan cancel on that charge, unable to find too much value. Tiger is going to get purpled, going to go insanely low, almost kissing the respawn room death timer, but is able to escape out with Vilecris and Skillet helping him out get backed up. But Dave Striker, no fear. One man to win it, going in deep, just barreling in, but Tiger able to get Brewer, that wall being just what Tempest needed to get that back. But Audacity, both Lucio's down in the team, but Audacity finding 2. Can he find more? Yes, he can. Spoiler alert, people, he can find 3. Many people going down. Tiger is going to get the pin, but Tiger going ham. Going to get a shatter on the Tex. Unable to follow up, though, because so many people on Tempest are down. But Audacity, I mean, just clicking on people. Little Soft is able to clean up as well on this Genji. Definitely one of his favorite, most comfortable heroes so far. And I mean, Audacity is going off Edicts.
Audacity just doing what Widow players love to do best, just keep clicking heads. And the staggers are coming through. This is going to be a big reset from Tempest. But what just happened there is that the tempo from Tempest was much too slow, and the wall just didn't find enough value. That's been a common theme when Fire Triangle's on the mate, is that the walls aren't getting as much value, and they're forced to back up because of this.
Yeah, Dave Shark are going to get really aggressive. Velocity do have these ultimates that they do want to use to try and take as much space as they can, control the tempo. They want to take it out of the hands of Tempest and put it back into Velocity's on the pace of them. They do have the grab and the Nano Blade, so a lot more ult advantage. They are going to be looking to get that down quickly. Fire Triangle is able to try to get some zoning on the Widow, but for right now, Ryan's brawling it out in the subway. And no, I'm not talking about the food establishment. Fire Triangle going to get one onto Dave Striker, and it does seem like Velocity able to control the pace. But as I say that, a little soft is going to get one, but not before he gets grabbed and pinned. But even with all that, he's still able to find two. Just Tempest. Oh my goodness. What a crazy fight with that Nano Blade. They grabbed and tried to stop it, everything with the pin. But Tempest still able to pull it back. Yeah,
Tempest does. It's a word for a storm, and storms are usually very fast moving, but I think the theme for them today has been slow. They haven't been able to get in fast enough on these advantages. They do manage to pick up Dave Striker on an overextend into the subway, but they just don't get in there fast enough. They allow them to Nano Blade.
Oh, Shatter coming out from Dave Striker on the flank. Is able to find a few laying down, but unable to find Tiger coming back with a slam of their own. Graviton unable to find any value. Quackamore maybe a little bit too quick on the hand with it, but rest of say that Skillet is going to go down. Tempest looking to really regain momentum here in this fight right now. Fire Triangle is going to be taking a quick nap, but not before he gets taken out by Quackamore. Wall's going to come out, able to help Audacity let his entire team see everything that they need to see in order to take the quick advantage in this fight. Anti and the Flashbang going to take out Dispatch Dave Striker with ease, going down from Velocity. It seems like right now Tempest going to try to control the pace here.
Yeah, and Flank Strider was a little bit ambitious from Dave Striker, and it's causing them to lose a lot of their speed coming, but he's already back, and it's about to be another fight again.
Yeah, another fight already brawling out, not too much breaks between them, but as we can see, getting the early pick and the Nano Blade is going to be what they needed. Beat is going to come out from Skillet, but arguably it might be a little bit too late. Little Sloth is able to pick one. Both Genji's finding some picks with their blades, but Little Sloth is just a little bit sharper, a little bit bigger in finding those picks. Kill feed just going ham right now. Tempest just storming through. Over 3-minute time bank. We're going to see some stalls coming out. Fire Triangle swapping to the Doomfist in desperation. Quackamore with a grab though, so we can just throw it onto the cart if they need to, and that's exactly what happens. Tiger and a few more are going to get caught in it. And right now, Tiger comes around and he just says, Shatter from downtown. I'm going to turn around and hit you guys down with the Shatter. Skillet, he's able to find one as well. Death Striker going down. It's all gone wrong for Tempest. They might try and pull it back here. Audacity is going to get able to pick. Audacity with two. Fire Triangle coming out on the stall. Phaedron getting one, and it's just back and forth right now. No real definite winner because both teams are getting picks despite the stall advantage coming out from Tempest. Velocity able to get one. Quackamore. Shatter coming out. Unable to find anything though? Well, it does find Vilecris, but he just stands right back up. Zythan able to get one. Back and forth brawl. Really messy, I do want to clarify on this point. Just back and forth. Zythan able to get one, but another grab charged by Quackamore in this fight, able to find two. Beat coming out, and we got a grab coming out from Tempest and Beats. It's just ultimate Fienza. It's almost like it's goats again with how many ults are going off so quickly in this fight. Tiger going to charge back in, looking to charge that Shatter as fast as they can. Phaedron going to come out on that ball stall to the wall style, going to try to stall as much as they can. Genji with that deflect run expiring, but as you can see that still stalls coming out, but I think this might be it pretty soon here. Fire Triangle at wit's end. Vilecris trying his hardest to stall it out, and what a stall! Velocity turned the corner on this fight with about 3 minutes, and it got stalled out to about 2:19. So almost a minute stall coming out from Tempest.
And this is still a really good time bank for Velocity. That's something that needs to be pointed out. And what gets the stall lasting so long is actually the really clutch brute from Skillet. Without Dave Striker in on the Rhine, they just can't sustain, and they just have to like take these scrappy fights where all these picks just coming in left and right. Individual plays start mattering the most. But what got them to that position, this really dominant time bank that got whittled down a little bit, but it's still really impressive from Velocity, was But as a wise old man once told me, he who blades first usually wins the fight. And that's exactly what happened to get them to that part where they were like about 1.2 meters away from capping the point.
Yeah, very insane, long drawn out, kind of almost like a messy brawl at some points. It gets a little bit hard to follow, but teams trading blows back and forth. But in the end, Velocity still with a pretty strong time bank on that attack. And now it's going to be Tempest's turn to try and take a swing at the time bank, try and see if they can get an even faster one on the map.
Yeah, and you see Phaedron right now showing the Sigma, and they're going for this on a Moira look again. I don't like this Phaedron.
Nope.
Phaedron, I think he's just trying to jump to get to the top of spawn, just trying to do a he was just trying to get up there. He's going to be on the Sigma, maybe trying to deny Audacity on the high ground angles. They're making a lot of swaps and maybe not the most consistent swaps.
Yeah, Tempest showing they might be a little bit unsure on what they want to play right now, looking a little bit flustered with all these constant swaps. Yeah, usually don't want to be swapping that much right before door comes out. Phaedron even going back to swap to the Zarya, so still indecisiveness coming up from Tempest. Zythian able to clear it up a little bit for them with that congestion. Audacity clicking on heads. He's going to have his head clicked on now by Zythian. Purple coming out is going to be pretty big and slowing down the pace of Velocity here. Quackmore able to find one with Zythian once again on this Widowmaker. Able to find consistent picks for Tempest on this team fight. It is going a little bit slow and drawn out right now, but if they can keep the steady momentum, Tempest could see things going back in their favor. But they do want to keep going fast. Little Sloth is still walking back in from spawn, so for the time being it is a 5v6 on the point. Mad dash to try and brawl it out. Tiger's going to be brawling out in the face of Daystriker. Absolutely zero fear. Bubbles used by all the Zaryas, and right now Nano being coming up for Valkyrie. In fact, both Anas very closely. Widow and Genji are going to take just opposing brawls, both of them going down. Nano coming out from both Rhines. Now it's the battle of the Nano Reinhardt ballad on the point. Little Sloth's going to go in, but he is just going to get melted from that Zarya beam. Dave Strider's going to come in as well. Coming close to the Shatter. Transcendence invested in this fight. Tiger is going to get 1-2 on that charge. Long range downtown charge as well. Walls coming out for the team, but it's all Tempest right now taking this down. Questionable Shatter coming out from Dave Striker, but I still think Tempest is able to take this point.
Yeah, and what's important to note is that they do cap it with about 2 minutes and 30 seconds left, but they could have capped so much longer if you saw how slow they were playing, waiting for their Reinhardt, when they could have been pressing the advantage that they actually had. It allowed Audacity to get back, and it really required that weird double kill moment you saw. Ooh, look in the back here.
Yeah, Fire Triangle just going in. Absolutely no fear, going so in. Able to get that pick on a Little Sloth, which is huge, because both teams have the blade. And so if they really wanted to keep this aggression, Fire Triangle could very well initiate a 6v5 blade if they wanted to keep this momentum going, but they might not need that in this fight. Phaedron coming up with the grab, so that could be what they need to make this aggression go even farther. Velocity constantly on the back foot. They're trying to regroup. Quackmore a little bit out of position. Is going to get taken down quickly. Getting zoned out. Graviton unable to find anything. Is still able to find Fire Triangles. I think clicking on the head of Audacity, but not before it gets rezzed. Tempest falling back once again. Despite all of their struggles and their troubles, are going to get pushed back by Velocity. It seems like they're going to stabilize for now.
Yeah, Tempest has to stabilize here, and it was just an overextension from them.
Oh, Shatter coming out from Quackmore, excuse me, onto Quackmore from Tiger. Unable to find the pick, but Skillet with that Coalescence and that Graviton Skillet, he's cooking up a lot of Coalescence kills in the kill feed, as we can see here, and that is going to be just what Tempest needed to pull back the momentum in their favor after that team fight.
Exactly, all that Tempest really had to do was just say, okay, we need to ult first. Like, we've had enough of this. You've been playing slow. We need a blistering time bank, and that's exactly what they have going into point 3.
Yeah, a little bit, about 4 minutes 30 on the time bank for Tempest, a little bit over 2 minutes. So if they can push this fast and keep this momentum going, they could have even a faster time bank than Velocity. But as you can see, Nano Blade up for both teams. As you say, it's whichever Genji Nano's first and Blade's first. So it is going to be Little Sloth in this equation. Fire Triangle going to be more reactive with that Blade. Isn't going to get nanoed either. Does find 2, but Little Sloth finding a 3-piece. With that blade, and it's going to be exactly what Velocity needs to bring it back in their favor. Fire Triangle's blade, just even though he got 2 picks, it still wasn't enough for Tempest.
Mistercrit, what did I say? He who blades first wins the fight. That's exactly what happened. It's almost a guaranteed. It's the early jump onto the picks really matters, and Velocity knows this, and they're exploiting this.
Yeah, Zythe gonna get the early pick onto Audacity, and that could be quite a momentum changer in this upcoming fight. Graviton, but Shatter coming up from opposing teams, Nano as well. Nano Moira, Nano Coalescence as well. Why not? Why not throw it in? We got a lot of picks on the team fight as well, just going their way. Little Sloth's just gonna reset, but Ultimate's coming out though. Velocity is gonna have the Shatter and the Bob, so they could stall it out here. Quackmore swapping to the Hog.
This might be a hold on the last point. Velocity or Tempest a little bit of an overcommitment.
Shatter coming out from Dave Striker, but it doesn't land. He gets picked before it happens. 2 down already from Velocity, but Bob is trying to do something on the point and is able to find 1. Can he find 2? Potentially. We don't know. But it seems like for the now, Bob only got 1 pick, and that was not enough. Tempest pushing it in with a 48-second advantage in the time bank over Velocity.
Tempest did exactly what they needed to, and coming in with no ultimates, it looked maybe a little bit hopeless, but you see Tiger just going for the spawn hold. You usually don't see this because at the end of King's Row 3rd, they have 2 entry points. You don't see a Rhine going up to bottle one of the choke points because it allows people on the other side to get a lot of free damage in and potentially picks. But what he does is he goes and matches Dave Striker on the Rhine and knows he's coming in for the Shatter and just pins him before he can even do it. What a play.
Yeah, it's like you said earlier after the halftime break, Edicts, where sometimes that grand shift in just playstyle from those open maps to these small brawl, in the case of King's Row with Tempest, able to take pace of the game a lot more compared to before halftime, if you remember Velocity being very aggressive on that dive.
Yeah, and now you see Velocity maybe a little bit shaken from that time bank that Tempest just set. Going for this Reaper May, and we have seen them on this look before. They do like going this when they want to go heavy brawl, where they're saying, okay, maybe got a little bit outclassed on the defense there, so we have to attack here. We might as well just run it down their throats.
Yes, indeed, and that's exactly what's going to be coming out from the side of Velocity on that main river, just looking to W key. But no, they're going to go up, rotate through the cinema near spawn. This could be an elaborate rollout, elaborate rotation coming out to try to avoid that Widow sightline. But they just jump down anyways onto main. They get that May wall to cut off the main sightline from the choke, and it seems like they're going to try to rotate through hotel as fast as they can. Get that brawl. Tiger, as you said before, absolutely zero fear getting that pin kill onto the Little Sloth, but Quackmore able to find that equalizing pick that he needs. It's all red in the kill feed right now. Velocity getting picks with this comp seems to be a little bit of a comp, a little bit of a playstyle reactionary difference. Tempest just slamming out the gates, rotating through hotel, but Velocity able to just quickly come back there.
I mean, to be honest, the rotation from Velocity didn't really do much and just wasted a few seconds of time. But what really happened is Tiger just can't make pins like that. Going in and just like, sure, you get the May, but you're in their back line, and then you lose their main tank, and then they have the main tank advantage over you.
Yeah, Maywall is going to come out from Tempest trying to cut people off, and both Maywalls, in fact, huge purple coming out, Fire Triangle, and Phaedron able to get the early 2 that Tempest needs. Coalescence as well coming out from Tex, but it doesn't seem to be enough. It seems like the kills going in favor of Velocity here, or excuse me, on Tempest, and it does seem like they are going to be coming back to hold this card.
Yeah, Tempest is going to be able to start holding this first angle as I think gets a pick. That's going to be the signal to reset Velocity as they have 30 seconds left. Team pressure in.
Yeah, a lot of ults on the point though for both teams. Tiger, 3-man Shatter onto the point. Phaedron is going to be able to follow up, and as you can see, he's got that Graviton Surgiton charged up on the top of your screen. So this could be it. This could be it because Brewer is not even halfway to his beat yet. So Phaedron just going to get the early grab here, and all Tiger really has to do is swing in. No picks quite yet, but it seems like for the time being, this is literally Tempest to win here. Tiger going to get that early pick now. Graviton retaliating. Reaper roll inside the grab. The Reaper grab combo able to find 2. Tex just able to keep their team alive in this fight. Velocity for the time being able to clutch it out and push Tempest back.
Yeah, and Tempest had to go all in there. In that moment of hesitation, they got caught off guard by Quackamore's grab, and then Audacity just finds the opportunity to set at the Death Blossom, so the card's going to continue in overtime. But Tiger really playing out of his mind there, almost winning that right there, and now as the card moves on through second, it becomes less and less winnable.
Yeah, especially ults kind of coming up, but Little Sloth with that mail, as you've said before, even if you have a lot of ults, that mail can just be so impactful and so just so great at stopping teams dead in their tracks despite the aggression. May ult tried to come out, but he gets picked before it happens. Skill out with the play. That's exactly, and I mean exactly what Tempest needed to keep this cart stopped. Tiger just going to be swinging, absolutely no fear. Insane clutch play coming out, killing that Mei before the Mayo comes out. Tempest realized that their win condition was getting the kill on that Mei before the Mayo was able to stop them in their tracks, and they did just that.
I'm not sure if that was more of just a mistake because of the Mei from Velocity just overextending a little bit. Little Saw just kind of going a little bit too far forward and just throwing it into like the face of Orion who's been swinging. Maybe a little bit of a misplay there. But that is two ultimates that have been shut down on the side of Velocity by just getting killed as they were casting. There was the Earth Shatter from Dave Striker and now Little Saw's Blizzard getting canceled. And that's been allowing Tempest to really hang in there. Now they have a superior time bank and a really good chance of getting to that corner of second.
Yeah, Velocity coming in before halftime. They were the ones controlling the pace. They were the ones setting the momentum and the tempo for this game. Now it's Tempest. They're the ones kind of being more aggressive with that momentum shift. In this pace, it seems like Brawl is a lot more suited, a little bit more of their bread and butter in terms of their team strikes with this comp. A cart's going to stop a little bit before second checkpoint, so Velocity unable to cap to up to 5 points. So it is Tempest. Like I said earlier, they do have that time bank advantage as well, 48 extra seconds compared to Velocity since they capped with 2 minutes. So let's see if they can take that advantage and win the map.
We're about to find out if King's Row is truly cursed or if that's just us, honestly. See Phaedron on the Sigma trying to shield Zythian on the Widow, but he goes and swaps.
Yeah, originally Sigma coming out just trying to get a feel for the environment. It is going to be the classic swap. Cesario, Phaedron getting so much value on this, but Valkyrie's going down early on the side of the Tempest. That Audacity is able to find two, like we've seen all throughout this series. Audacity able to consistently pull things back for his team, clutching things out for the side of Velocity, and they're going to be pushing Tempest back, and that's not what Tempest really wants. They're down to 2 minutes. Still plenty of time to get some more pushes in, but not too much left.
Yeah, that was their free fight. Their advantage fight is gone, but now they're on even footing. About even on the ult charge side of things too.
Yeah, both teams pretty neutral in this fight. No real ult advantage per se built up right now. So both teams kind of trading blows. And Maywall used a little bit early onto Tiger. They're going to want to pick him down. And Tiger getting that pin. Unable to find too much right now. Audacity on the flank going through Hotel. Trying to see if he can get an early pick or even some damage in. Early immortality used from Velocity, but it is going to be able to keep their team safe. But Death Striker able to get one. Tiger unable to find a shatter in return, and Tiger, as we said before, just absolutely zero fear. Blade coming out from Fire Triangle as well. This could be exactly what Tempest needed with the Blade. Gonna find 3 along with that Coalescence, reinforcing to keep that Genji alive, and it does seem like Velocity is going to go down. Tempest going to cap with a little bit over a minute.
Tiger had, again, no business surviving there. But the Blade from Fire Triangle creates enough of a diversion to allow Tiger to survive, the attention taken off of him for a second. And with the Nano Boost, still able to get a Fire Strike pick and then just start swinging again as the Blade is able to just finish everyone off. But look at the ultimates on the side of Velocity. They have Blizzard, they have Graviton Surge, they have Bob. This and almost beat were only a Graviton Surge available for Tempest. So Tempest really has to, if they don't win this fight, they have to win the next one. They want to take this fight early.
Yeah, they're going to want to take it early as fast as they can because, like you said, ult advantage going heavily in the favor of Velocity. Velocity, if they play their ults right, this could be an easy fight win to stop Tempest in their track. May ult is going to be coming out from the side of Velocity and a grab as well. All 6 members lying down with that purple. That's going to be huge. Just instant team wipe coming out from Tempest. Just a massive play all around. The immortality comes up, but it just gets broken immediately. Velocity going down, and with that team wipe, there's nobody really come back and stall. They're all swapping a stall picks, as you can see here, but I don't think there's enough time. The car's only a few feet away. I'm just going to cap the point, and that's just going to be it. The game-winning play. Yeah, Tempest with that game-winning clutch play doing exactly what they needed, even though Velocity had the ultimate advantage. In that fight, Tempest just playing smarter.
Velocity was going in. They were like, okay, we need to put this series to an end, make them go to the stall picks. And Tiger, this is going to be play of the game. Coming in from downtown, hitting all 6 with Earth Shatter. They were stuck in the Graviton Surge.
Oh.
He was stuck. Striker was stuck in the Fire Strike animation. So just getting completely dominated there by Tiger. What a game-saving play.
Yeah, what a gamer, as some might say, on that Ryan, just establishing dominance in this match. Originally, like we said before, it was Dave Stryker putting the hammer to Tiger, really making him back up. But now it's Tempest really setting the tempo. As we've seen before, as you might say, Kings are a little bit of a cursed map. Velocity dropping that one. But Tempest, this could be exactly what they need to take the series back in their hands.
Kings Row once again proving to be cursed. Tempest is starting to reverse the momentum, and Tiger's starting to find his foothold in this main tank battle. It's really interesting to see. His aggression's being matched with his team now. The tempo is starting to get heated up, maybe a little bit more hyped in the match chat. Velocity needs to figure out how to cool them down a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. Tempest, like you said, just taking that aggression away from Velocity. Velocity had such great momentum before halftime, coming into it up with that 2-0 lead, and Tempest, they must have had some insane water coming out and that insane pep talk coming out, because that's exactly what they needed with that brawl, with that pace on that closer or that close, the more closer just kind of brawl points. So Tempest coming out, it does seem like we're going to be going to Hanamura for our fourth map.
Yeah, and I think this is Velocity trying to say, okay, so we want to be playing these long angles. We want to be doing what we do best. How about this Audacity on the hit scan? We don't want any more of this heavy brawl. That's where they just lost a map. So they want to say, okay, we need to play this slow tempo poke style and get them and then try to make them uncomfortable and feel like they can't get in and try to like bottle them at this oppressive doorway choke of Hanamura. And it's going to be Velocity on the attack first. So it's actually going to be, well, wait. Is it Tempest?
No, it's Velocity on the defense.
Velocity on the defense. Yeah, this
correct.
actually almost plays into Velocity's hands. Like if they can get a good defense here and make Tempest feel off guard with these long poke style compositions, then this might be Velocity able to like clean up the series here.
Yeah, for sure. Hanamura, especially second point, can trip up a lot of teams, because if you have a Widow on that high ground or just patrolling those windows on second point defense, it can just be absolutely a nightmare for some teams to just play against and play around. So it should be interesting to see if Velocity can take back this momentum, take it out of Tempest's hands and back into theirs in this Hanamura map.
Yeah, I'm curious to see if Tempest wants to stick with these Ryan Zarya compositions, because obviously they were playing the Winston Zarya earlier and it wasn't working for them. They went down 0-2 in the series. Now they're 1-2. They were playing this brawl style and they're thinking, well, I know Hanamura isn't the best map, but if we can just like muscle our way in there and maybe like find a rotate into the right side building, maybe we'll be able to like get a fight on point, which is exactly the kind of thing they want. And Velocity has to be thinking, well, they might do this, or they might try to go for a dive and see how it works. Maybe they're just feeling overall more confident. And Velocity, it's really, the onus is on Velocity finding a way to bottle Tempest in the doorway.
Yeah, for sure. That Hanamura first point defense just kind of choke. It's really the only way you can come in into the map, and especially for Velocity, is going to be key for them to control that sightline, that main way, so that Tempest is unable to find any value. And if the longer they can hold them on first point, or ideally for them even full hold them, the better the series will look for them going forward.
Yeah, and if Velocity does play a poke composition, I'm expecting an Ashe here. If I don't see an Ashe, I'm going to be very, very, very surprised, because what a spam comp wants to do a lot is it wants to put in a lot of damage from different angles and funnel it all onto one target in one location and set up kill boxes and just completely just pour all the damage in and then get a pick off of it. And then suddenly you have to rotate. Your resources are burnt. You have to either die or get out. And it can put Velocity, or it can put Tempest in a really bad position, especially if they play this Brawl composition. Brawl likes to be in one position. It plays directly into the hand of Poke. So I think this is exactly why Velocity picked Hanamura.
Yeah, as we've seen so far in this series, Audacity, I don't know if their name is Dennis, but they're an absolute menace on the hit scan, going insane with the Widowmaker, with the Ashe, just constantly clicking on the heads. We've seen Audacity coming in clutch for Velocity so far throughout this series. So it should be exciting to see. I guess, like you said, I'm really interested to see. I'd really like to see an Ashe come out on this first point defense from Velocity.
Yeah, and I'm with you. I want to see the Ashe here, and I want to see how Velocity is able to rise to the challenge. Do they go back to something that they were losing on, or do they stick with what they know has started to win even knowing that the map is not favorable for it.
Yeah, indeed, it is. That is going to be the name of the game, or rather the map. We should be getting into things quite shortly. So, what kind of comp do you think? It does seem like we have a quick disconnect, quick pause coming in. So, a little bit of technical difficulties, but we'll try to get you back the match as fast as we can.
So what I'm expecting from both of these teams, to answer your question, while the pause does come through, a little bit unfortunate disconnect, is I'm expecting Velocity to go back to a Winston Zarya here, on the defense, and I'm expecting them to hold really close and set up what's known in Dive is a concept of kill box. Set up a kill box right outside the. I'm not sure if they're like thinking or talking about this at all, but. So, like, realistically, setting up a kill box, like, just inside the doors as they try to push in, pump a bunch of damage, send Winston in, and just, like, burn them down completely. Don't even let them even try to rotate. And if they do rotate, just, play around the angles of the point. Hanamura is a bit of a shooting gallery on the defense, and it's really strong for the defense. And you can just, as they rotate, you can just keep spamming them down, rotate, play kind of footsie with them a little bit, and just, once they're on point, they should be drained of all their resources.
Yeah, if they play smart with that kind of playstyle, that should be more than effective for them to hold this map and take it in their favor for Velocity. So Tempest, like I said, taking that last map, but Velocity looking to take it back in their hands after that momentum kind of being taken away from them after halftime. Because as we remember before, they were up 2-0 in the beginning of the series, playing both very open, very dive-heavy maps with both Oasis and Gibraltar. And then we went to Kings Row, a little bit more closed down, a little bit more brawly. And we do see Tempest, that does seem to be their kind of bread and butter, their comfort zone with that brawl. So heading into Hanamura, it should be interesting to see how it plays out going forward for both teams.
Yeah, and I honestly think, I'm not sure about you, if there was another 2 CP map in the map pool, the others being Anubis and Volskaya, that are more hostile to what Tempest, is showing that they are starting to be they're starting to get really good at.
Yeah, I that's a very good question. I don't think so. Like we've seen, there should be a very certainly probably not as much of a comfort map for Tempest compared to at least to Kings Row, because as we've seen, like that map which is so strong and favorable for them. So Velocity looking to take this game back into their hands with this. So that is going to be the name of the game with this. If Audacity can get those early picks, like we've seen with him so much consistently in this series before, Zythian, no discredit to him as well, able to get picks as well on this hit scan, the Widow, the Ashe, but Audacity just been absolutely going insane with these clutch picks, these clutch kills to close it out for Velocity. If we see that again on this first point Hanamura defense, I think it should be, as long as they can keep their cool and keep that going, Velocity should be able to make it a fast map.
That's something that needs to be mentioned too, is that Zythian on the overtime attack for Tempest just really started lighting up the kill feed and just getting picks off like left and right, and just reversing a little bit of a revenge performance coming out, because Audacity was really getting the better of the hit scan battle, but then Zythian just lights it up, and Audacity isn't able to really find much when they were on the defense.
Yeah, as we've seen before, most of the series has been Audacity just lighting up the kill feed, but Zythian taking a few trading blows, and like you said, recently just coming into their own, just lighting it up as well, showing Audacity, hey, I'm not the only one that can click on the head hitboxes in this server. So Zythian trying to get back into that groove and that momentum, and hopefully for Tempest, Zythian is still on, still warm, to try and give Audacity as much of a challenge as they can in order to swing this into Tempest's favor and continue going for that map.
Yeah, so I'm expecting our disconnected player, to come back in a few moments. So we're going to take a quick break while we get this all situated. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back in hopefully a few moments.
Yep, stay tuned. All right, everybody, welcome back to this Owlet Saturday match. Currently, we're on map 4 of this series, Velocity versus Tempest Esports. It's currently 2-1 in favor of Velocity up at the halftime, but Tempest just recently taken the last map, so Tempest looking to take this match into their hands and hopefully pulling off that legendary reverse sweep, as some may call it.
It is pretty legendary. The curse on King's Row might prevail here, but maybe Velocity will be able to hold off. Skillet coming back from a short power flick, apparently. Maybe the Tempest outside kind of got to him.
Maybe so. But regardless, we're going to be heading right back into the match now. So no more disruptions, no more delays. Heading into our fourth map, like I said, Hanamura going into this one is going to be Velocity starting out on the defense, Tempest on the attack. So it should be quite interesting to see what kind of comps come out from both teams. Like I was mentioning before the break, Audacity does seem to be coming out on that Ashe, I would hope. Has been a key component on that for Velocity so far.
This is perplexing coming out from Velocity. I would have expected them to stick with the Winston here, and the Mei is just... This is a little bit puzzling. They're going for a hybrid rush and then Audacity on the Ashe, like no damage boost. This is a little bit strange of like a weird hybrid style. It kind of the hero choices kind of conflict with each other. Audacity wants them to come in a little bit so he can actually get value, but the Mei Little Sloth doesn't really want them to come in. And with a damage boost, I don't know. Without the damage boost, it's a little bit weird. So it's just speed boost into them on Maywall, and Audacity has to do something.
Yeah, it's going to be kind of interesting to see how these two, this kind of mishmatch into this one comp is going to work out. Tempest coming out with quite a unique comp of their own, Sim Sombra with a Ryan Zarya. And Moira Ana, as you've mentioned before, they've been a fan of rolling out their Moira Ana when they're feeling pressured in the healing department. So, but for right now, TP coming out from Choke. Tempest going to be looking to get back onto that point. Zaisi is going to get purpled and taken on very quickly by Little Sloth. Kind of a mad, kind of disorganized brawl on the point right now. Tiger is going to go down, or excuse me, Dave Striker is going to go down. Quackamore finding 2. He's just consistently shown throughout this series, especially his prowess on the Zarya, just being able to beam down people, and he's going to take a third in this fight. So for right now, Velocity is going to hold.
Dave Striker did one of the 2 correct things you could have done playing Reinhardt against that. One was to retreat back to point and just start sending in the hammer damage in on the other side of the teleport. The other was just to deny it up front, start swinging, breaking it, doing a lot of damage up front as well, but just breaking and isolating Phaedra on the side of Tempest and just not allowing him to get any further as the rest of Tempest just dies on point. So they've solved off the sim now.
Yeah, Velocity's going to be brawling at this choke here versus Tempest. Tiger unable to find anything with that shatter, but the wall unable to find too much value. Quackamore is going to get Nanner to try and build that grab as fast as possible. Skillet's going to come out on that coalesce to try to lead his team in. Is going to find Brewer in the process. Quackamore with that grab, but on it is going to use it after a few people do go down. Is able to find 2. Dave Striker is running fairly low due to that anti-nade from the opposing Ana. Dave Striker trying to get the pin, but does get picked before it is able to land. And it does seem like for right now, Tempest is going to take the point, and they do have this EMP, Edicts, so could be used for quite a bit of momentum going in a second.
I gotta appreciate the grit coming in from Velocity, thinking that Quagmire thinking, okay, we're down 2, but we can still win this with the Graviton Surge. It just didn't quite happen. Velocity, I do question Velocity's pick here, and that's like exactly where it comes in. If they're playing this poke style, maybe they'll be able to do more. And now with the EMP coming in from Tempest, this could be all over very quickly if they just find an opportunity.
Yeah, Tiger walled off from the rest of his team, and EMP finding all 6 members on the side of Velocity. Tiger gonna get one, and it's just all it is target focus. Mei is gonna come out, throw her ult down, but 3 people already down from the side of Velocity. We're gonna see a Bob coming out to try and stall on this point because they're gonna really need it for this point. Quackamore is going to get the hook. Phaedron with the grab right outside of spawn. Dave Striker unable to find anything with that shatter for the time being. Tempest able to play this smart. That EMP really coming in clutch for them. Little Sloth is going to be able to find 1 on this stall. Audacity coming with 2. This could be a clutch moment here if they can stall it out. So despite that, Tempest is down 2. Tiger going in for a little bit of a quirky shatter, as they may say. Dave Striker coming out on the monkey, just leaping in onto the back line, is going to find Ana as well, and it's all falling apart for Tempest. all the picks are going in the favor of Velocity. It was Tempest to win. They had the EMP advantage. They had all these ults coming out. They had all these coming out. So close to 2 ticks coming out for the side of Tempest. They're unable to find it. Just Dave Striker is just zapping people on the point. On this monkey is going to get hacked and taken out very quickly, but the healing coming out from Tex is going to be exactly what he needs to stay alive. Ana is online, unable to use it. It's going to come out under the ball for the maximum stall potential. Second EMP charged in Fire Triangle. What was that? Maybe a minute and a half at most between EMPs. So not too long here, but still Velocity is going to get the picks exactly what they need on this fight to close it out. Skillet is going to find one, but it's still Velocity. What a crazy fight. Tempest gets about 2.5 ticks. But still, fight's still not over. Dave Striker is still on the point, trying to get those early picks in the back line. Bob is going to come out as well from Audacity, song it out, and that's going to be picks from the side of the blue team. Velocity is able to find 1, 2, and 3. Skill's going to find one, but Audacity making it a 4 with that. Bob here, Tempest, quite a long fight, insanely long fight drawn out. We're going to see some swaps coming out, able to find 2 ticks.
There's no... Tempest just didn't... No business like losing that fight, and then no business winning that fight, even getting the second tick, and then they still do. And they had to have called that at some point, but just didn't call it. They didn't call it over. Never say never. Gets them punished a little bit here, but they do manage to pick up most of the point.
Yeah, now I see quite a bit of differing comps coming out from... Big Sleep coming out, unable to get the pick to finalize it out. But as we see now, Velocity with a heavy dive comp, and Tempest with more of that brawl. Quackamore finding those mines on the Tiger is going to sandwich him in that tight corridor, and with that as well, we're going to see a Paravel coming out. Isn't able to find too much right, but still, it's just still knocking people around on this point. Velocity taking this into their own hands here. They're going to be, but as we can see, Tempest getting mad ultimates on the side of their screen. They have 4. So ult advantage lying in the side of Tempest for this next fight.
Do you think there was anything left of Tiger's body after he just detonated literally every one of those mines?
I mean, probably. All I'm gonna say is Tiger's probably not gonna be having an open casket for his funeral. We're gonna be seeing a grab coming out from the side of Phaedron, unable to find too much coalescence. Gonna try to keep the rest of Skill's team alive. A Little Sloth coming in clutch on this Doom, able to find 2 picks for his team. Phaedron still lasering people down, and the rest of Tempest, all they need is literally less than a tick. Fire Triangle getting 2. Not close to an EMP, but the stall going insane for Velocity, able to find 2. Audacity, as we've said before, coming in clutch with these picks exactly when their team needs it. On this Ashe especially, is going to go down, but still not without finding 2. Dave Striker's going to get one as well on this Winston with the stall. Still, once again, Tempest loses that fight, and they could have won it, but they lose it. Velocity with that clutch factor. Tiger going to the Winston.
This is a classic 2 CP moment with teams just really need to... but they're finding the picks. But teams really just need to focus down at the end here. Let's see if Tempest can do it this time.
Yeah, Tempest does find 3 at the end of that last fight, so they do have this momentum going into it, so hopefully they can try to close this out. With so many unsuccessful, unfortunate fights in the past, it's all red team. Tempest is going to be trying to get these picks on the team. Now it's just Dave Striker is somewhat close to a primal. Maybe if he can build it fast enough, it could be enough, but no, he gets hacked right before it goes down. Brewer is able to find 1 for his team. Right now, Audacity's going to swap to the Tracer to try and stall as well. Grav is going to come out from Phaedron. Little Sloth is able to find 1 on the Doom, but not before going out as well. Nano coming out onto Tiger, trying to zap down that ball as much as he can. And it's just Dave Striker is going to come out on that stall. He's going to have the primal as well to stall it out. Less than 15 seconds on the board, and Tempest have still not capped the point. They're still fighting over the point, and the stall from Velocity is unreal. Velocity, all these people coming in, getting that target focus, getting that exchanges on the point. Fire Triangle with the EMP now, only able to find 2, but it could be potentially what they need. Tiger with that primal is able to find 1. Crackamore slamming down to the point, make it Brewer and Crackamore finding more. Mines coming out onto the point. Tempest, it's all gone wrong for them. Velocity constantly coming in clutch, fight after fight after fight, and Tiger living and dying by the mines as we've seen this round. I cannot put into words how frustrating that must be for Tempest on that second point.
Right, Tiger seeming to want to take baths in the cleansing baths in the mines, getting a little bit relaxed. It's warmer than a hot tub even, so I can imagine it'd be quite relaxing for a second. But just the Tempest, like the lack of focus at the end, not able to close it out. One fight they used all 6 of their ultimates, but there are people getting behind them. Like there's Doomfist getting behind them. There's Audacity on the Ashe just getting on the high ground and just staying up there. These things have to be contested. This is where the problem lies with a brawl comp on Hanamura's second point, is that there's no one up there in these really chaotic fights to take down an Ashe that just sits up there and reigns completely free. You have to like rely on a DPS duel, and even then, people on the side of Tempest not looking at the right things and just letting themselves get surrounded and picked off, and with a spawn advantage, it's just not going to result. So now Velocity have a clear objective: get over 90.5% and win the series.
Yeah, for sure. That is all they need. They don't even need to go to a second round. As long as they cap both points, essentially completely at this point, because it's 90% on second point. As long as they can do that, this will be their map to win. Tempest now staring into the eyes of potential defeat here. Not capping both points, it is going to be very on them to have as strong of a defense as they can to hold Velocity off from taking out and closing out the series.
Will the King's Row curse prevail? We're about to find out. Both teams rolling out, and Velocity going back to this dive comp and see how much it'll work for them.
Yeah, we can see a clear philosophy difference in terms of how these teams want to play this map. Velocity coming out with this dive comp, this double bubble, as some might say, but Tempest coming out with the tried and true brawl, trying to stick with what works for them. But as we've seen before, it can be a little bit of a struggle on this map. Fire Triangle able to get one with that Mei, the Mei walls, and the Pix freezes all coming in clutch for Tempest right here. But for right now, it's just a mad brawl on the point. Audacity is able to find one on this Tracer with this dive. Bubbles coming out all around. Lil Sauce is able to find one as well. Both two down on the side of Tempest. But Zythian is able to get one on that Ana. Mei's coming out of her Icicle, and she's going to get burned immediately just by the enemy team here. Velocity is able to find two. Coalescence coming out for Skillet. Maybe trying to sustain, maybe try to get an early pick, keep Zythian up. But Zythian goes down, unable to prevail. Now it's only Skillet, and I think Skillet is going to be the only one cooking up today as he's sent back to the respawn room. Velocity is going to take first point with quite a bit of time on the clock.
I don't know, I think that's one he really wants back, and they're on this on Moira again. All might be lost here with the ultimate advantage from Velocity, and originally it was Velocity's mistake for not zoning out Tiger at the gates before they set up dive. They're a little bit disjointed, but able to just like find the overextension picks and able to like corral them all on point. That's exactly what dive wants to do. And it was just Tempest playing directly into Velocity's hands. Now with a blistering 5 minutes and 20 seconds to capture 91%.
Yeah, aggressive Graviton coming out from Velocity. Audacity able to find one as well. They don't want to waste any time, give Tempest any room to breathe at all. They're going to get two picks early on in this fight. Mora no face. She's going to take it out very quickly. And even if they didn't get those two early picks, they still have the Nano Blade online, just waiting, sitting around. Dave Striker going to get two, including the Primal as well. Zythian coming out on the stall Torbjorn. That's right, the stall Torbjorn. We're going to see Quackamore finding two. Still hold it. Now he's going to pop the blade on the team and wipe him up as fast as possible. Like I said, they still need basically a full capture. Going to get that beat for sustain. And now it's Tempest's turn to step up to the plate. Can they have as strong of a stall as Velocity did on the last round on this point? That is the question on this fight. Skillet's going to get Nano trying to stay alive as much as he can. But as we've seen here, the target focus is just plainly superior. The targets are dying on the side of Tempest faster than they were for Velocity. On this part of the map, Velocity is able to find ticks. They're going to lock up two ticks, 2.5 coming out here. It's just constantly picks. Tempest looking to stall out as much as they can here. Monkey jumping in as well, and it's going to be Skillet. No real ults coming out. Phaedron dying at 99. That is going to be very impactful for them as well. Audacity just coming in clutch with that pulse bomb. Quackamore lasering people up as well. We're going to be seeing Fire Triangle on this Doomfist trying to get a stall going on. Graviton now coming out from Phaedron. Can he get those crucial picks? No real follow-up because everybody on his team is dead. And it does seem like despite that, Velocity able to turn it back. The King's Roar curse just seemed to be true because Velocity takes it back on this map. 3-1 over Tempest.
Yeah, and the series ends with that. And these stall fights, I think, are the big difference between these two teams at the end. It's just, I think that I do think that even though this was close and Tempest started bearing their fangs a little bit on King's Row, getting the curse a little bit more of a reputation, it's just the focus, the target focus, the teamwork on the side of Velocity is just too much. I do think that this is proving that this result is legitimate. I think Velocity is a better team right now than Tempest. Tempest really needs to find ways to focus up and finish the fight.
Yeah, for sure. Like we've seen before, Tempest able to take King's Row, but they do fall in this series to Tempest 3-1. Once again, Velocity taking this match against Tempest. Now, so after the series is over, Edicts, we do have the potential for an interview coming up. Are there any people in particular you want to give MVP for this map or for this match?
I think the match MVP has to be Audacity. We were discussing a little bit in the halftime that Dave Stryker might be the MVP for the match, and he did play really well and a really strong team effort from Velocity to secure this win. But I do think we do have to give the match MVP to Audacity. So many times he showed clutch on Gibraltar, getting the coach gun away and warding off the nano blade and making it find no value. All these stall picks on Hanamura defense, and not even to mention all of just the random overall picks that he was getting. Just 4Ks on Widowmaker, just unstoppable during this match.
Yeah, just Velocity with that win tonight, and Audacity was a big part of that, getting those clutch picks on the Ashe, on the Widowmaker, even on the Tracer at some points with these consistent picks. Not to give any discredit to Edicts, can you help me a little bit here? The opposing hit scan on Tempest.
The opposing hit scan. It was, oh boy, I have to contact the team card. This is embarrassing. Is he not on the team card? I don't think he's on the team card, Mr.
Zythian.
Yes.
Zythian. Zythian, no discredit to him at all during this match. At all. He had a lot of nice plays coming back, trading blows as well. Able to stand toe-to-toe at points with Audacity. But Audacity for sure is I think going to be our match MVP, just coming in clutch, like you said, so many times for his team with the picks on this hit scan, doing exactly what they needed to help clutch out those intense fights.
So we are going to need to go into a little break before we can hopefully get an interview in with someone from Velocity. So stay tuned for that, as we'll bring that to you after this break.
All right, everybody, welcome back. We just had an exciting series tonight on the Saturday evening. Velocity versus Tempest. Velocity getting the better of Tempest tonight, 3-1. And tonight we have an interview with the main hit scan player of Velocity, Audacity. Welcome.
Thank you guys for having me so much. Thank you.
All right, so we just had a quick couple of questions we wanted to ask you a little bit for the interview. So first one I had was, so throughout the match today, we had a lot of intense trading blows, a lot of intense clutch moments as well from Velocity as a whole. But I was just going to ask, is there anybody in particular on your team you wanted to give a shout out to help you and enable you so much to pop off in those clutch moments, those key moments to help your team?
Honestly, the whole team really made space and did their part today for me to really pop off there. Like, the tanks made the space, the healers really kept us alive. Like, it was just a whole team effort, I think, together.
For sure. Team chemistry and especially the target focus looked very clean today from you guys.
Yeah, and I wanted to talk about a particular fight, and I'm not sure if you call this like 1 fight, 2 fights, 3 fights. A lot of messy things going on. The last map we just saw, Hanamura, when Velocity was on defense, you were on high ground on the Ash, and it looked like it was all over, and they were gonna cap, and Tempest was gonna cap which of a blistering time. But you start getting these picks. What was going through your mind at this point?
Honestly, it was really just like a clutch moment. I knew we were swapping to the stall, so I saw their Ana and just like Summer just out of position. I just went for it. I knew I had a touch, so I just aggressed, gave my life so my team can stall, and that really just enabled it.
Yeah, absolutely. And it was, I just watched you. I couldn't believe what I was seeing with like on the high ground, just getting these picks off, and I'm like, there's no way that Tempest loses this, and then they end up losing it. And so really clutch plays coming out from you.
Yeah, we took a lot of time, like kind of like learning that stuff. Like, we did it on King's Row against Odyssey last week, and we just really perfected our stall, I think, and our target focus and everything.
Yeah, absolutely.
For sure. Edicts, didn't you have one more question about like a?
Oh, you go ahead if you have another question.
Oh, I was just gonna ask. So over the course of this match, even though you're match MVP, if there's one person besides you on the team that you could give MVP to, who would it be?
It'd probably be a toss-up between 2 people, Sloth and Quack. Like, Sloth really had a really good showing today, and Quack was just really dominant on the off-tank, I think. So out of the 2, I would say give it to him.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
I think very, very fair answer for sure. Both tank line, your tank line looking very clean as well throughout this series. But I think that's going to be it for tonight. Thank you so much.
Well, I have a
Audacity.
few more questions, Mr. Crit. I have to ask a few more things. So I mean, they did take a map. Yeah, of course. I'm not letting you go that easily. So so I wanted to know in particular, you saw the looks from Tempest coming out were not very strong on the first 2 maps. You guys were able to go up 2-0. And then when they start going, we've been calling King's Row a cursed map on the cast because so many times it seems like series start to pivot into momentum on King's Row because it's such a stylistic change. Did Tempest surprise you with the looks they were showing, and how did you recover after that map loss, that really close map loss?
Yeah, I mean, they really came out really aggressive, and we weren't really expecting that, so really props to them for doing that. Like, we kind of felt like a little claustrophobic there, I'd say, at some points. So after that map loss, we just kind of took a breather there, kind of assessed the situation, and just went from there, like, what we have to do. We saw that our dive was working, so we went back to that on the attack, and I feel like that's what won us on Hanamura.
Yeah, for sure. And I was making comments like this was a perfect map pick. Nothing could be more hostile to what Tempest really was like starting to find their stride on than Hanamura. And one last question for you. Looking forward, a week 4 rematch on Friday versus the team I coach, Dice Rolls. So what are your thoughts on this matchup? Last time it was really close. Had my heart going dangerously high.
That was
what are your thoughts on that upcoming rematch?
I feel like our team's really been improving. We're just getting our comms down, even individual skill from all the players across the board. So I think it's going to be a really close fight, I think, coming next week. And I'm excited to play you guys again. It's going to be a fun one for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that wraps up all the questions I have. Mr. Crit, do you have anything else?
No, that's unfortunately that's all I had planned. So I think, without further ado, if that's going to be all the questions for the night, I think that's going to conclude the interview. Once again, Audacity, thank you so much for coming out tonight, and congratulations on your win tonight over Tempest.
Thank you so much, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
But
you.
all
Take
right,
care.
that is. Yep. Have a good one. All right, but yeah, that is going to wrap up our match tonight. Once again, for all the folks in the back, it was Velocity University versus Tempest Esports. Tempest taking him out, but ultimately Velocity closing out with a 3-1 victory.